This is a solar farm, as you can tell by the solar panels. Dead giveaway, you're on a solar farm, yeah? The new inverter, which is that thing there, is replacing an old inverter, which was a similar thing but out of date, probably not as economical and on its last legs. And obviously, firms come and go, and now they can't service the one that was there. In this particular case, they've had to put a roadway in, but normally it'd be covered with mud. But this one, they put a roadway in. And what we're doing is, or what my job is, to do the terminating Glanding. So in the next couple of videos, or this video maybe, I'm going to be putting in some 630 mains to that, all the ancillary cables and all the bits and bobs, and I've got a DC string cabling to extend and do. So that's what you're going to see in this. This is probably going to be a time-lapse video because I thought I'd do a time-lapse video, so there you go. So enjoy, you fucking dick. Just if you're playing along at home, we've got 3 sets, L1, L2, L3, of 4 500mm HO7RN to go into that gland plate, which I've marked and drilled already. You'll see, made a nice job of that. And we're going to bring along the trio 4 as I've just described, for the reasons I've just described, and get them into there. And then we'll do the gland in there, which should be a piece of piss. They're just like wet string, as my first boss would say. It's absolutely pissing it down on day 1 of the solar job. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these tri-rates, they've all been taken out. They phase down at the ends. We need to get them on some ladder right down here and into that box. However, first of all, I did joint this 50mm last night, which I need to get through that hole in there, through the hole into the shed, which means we ain't got to go back in that hole again. So first job is get this 50mm in and then fit some tray and whatnot, ladder with trio foil clamps on there, because them cables are going to go in trio foil, which is something I'll explain back in the studio. I'm gonna what? I could do a whole video on trio foil, and maybe I will, but I ain't got the technical knowledge to do it anyway. Here's the general gist of it, yeah? Round the cable, that's the cable, the black bit, there's a magnetic field doing magnetic fieldy shit. And then you have these options. You put all your L1s, all your L2s, and all your L3s together, yeah? That means all the magnetic shit that goes round this that's doing what it do is 3 times better than it is. The other option is you chuck them around a fucking mess like this, which is just a fucking mess, don't do that. And the other option is you put them in trio foil. So you put the 3 phases together once, the 3 phases together twice, the 3 phases together 3 times. This means that the fucking weird magnetic shit that's going off around the cables cancels each other out. This creates heat and this creates less heat. This reduces the current carrying capacity of your cables, and this doesn't. There's a massive paper on it I've got online. I'll try and put it on Instagram as a link. I might even put some shots in. No, I won't. It's online. So yeah, that's what I know. It deserves its own video, but the general consensus is when you put them in the sets, L1, L2, L3, like that, it's better for current carrying capacity and fucking everything else, and this is just a mess. Now fuck off. I'm smoking my pipe. On these bad boys, I've started working these in. These are 500s in trio foil. Out the trunner, I've just started working them and I've got a lot of working to do. And they've somehow got to go into that box. Happy days. I've rough loaded them out now. This doesn't show everyone on the camera, but they're coming out there. That row's L1, then L2, then L3. There's no neutral. They come out there, do the jiggling around. Then they go into trio foil, which is where you have L1, L2, L3 in an order. Don't matter which, I don't think. Because when they're together like this, the electromagnetic, as long as you've got all 3 phases in the cleat, or together in a triangle like that, they even each other out. If you don't do it like this, if you just take them L1s, L2s, L3s, they get warmer and they can't take as much current. So put them in trio foil. It was always the best way to do it, apparently. I've got an interesting paper that I've just read But yeah, they're in trio 4 now. They'll stay in trio 4 for as long as they can. Obviously not in trio 4 there, but that's minimal. All the electromagnetic things get taken out here. Then at the end, after that set of cleats, we'll have to come off to get them into the box. But as you can see, I've got them in. There's the greys, there's the blacks, and the browns are in. It's a bit fucking tight, and we've got some stuff to go in there, so we'll look at that next. I'm just looking at this now, that plate goes on there. Now you see I've put the browns in. That's roughly where they want to fall, and they're roughly going to go onto that bar there. So at some point we're going to have to commit and drill the plate. The problem is once you drill the plate, you're totally committed. Now they might be in the right places, but they might be a couple of centimetres either way, might make a massive difference on the glanding. So when someone else is there, I'm going to have a word, but I'm going to lay those in now where I think they'll end up, so I can mark the centres of the triangles. I think we're going to have triangles in there. There's a debate whether we go along that way with the browns, up that way with the browns, or put 4 triangles in. I think 4 triangles is now looking best. We need to commit to where the centre is and how high up it goes and how spaced they are. So I'll have a word with one of the other lads about that, because it's not the kind of thing I take on my own, but you can see it'll be quite tight. I've laid them all in now. I don't know if that helps me out or what. They look like they're all going to be long enough. There's some extra copper Busbars going on there, and it sort of helps me here, but I don't know if I'll fit the triangles in, so I might lay the stuffing glands out on the plate now and see what that looks like. I might have to put them in and out about 10 times. I don't know if that's told me anything, but I've tried it just in case it did. So I might get the plate and lay the stuffing glands on, see what kind of space I'm working with. I also can't fit the lugs through the stuffing glands, so the lugs have got to come off, and as you can see, there's not much to play with, but we're working with that. That's fixed. That inverter had to go there. There was no more to come. And that's basically what we've got. Back on these big bastards now then. I'm happy with that end. I'm happy with my trio foils. I've got my plate, I've got my glands, I'm going to lay it out. Luckily I've got other jobs, so I can keep diving around between jobs, getting each one half done while I wait stuff to happen. These are quite tight, the coppers are going there, so I'm just going to lay this out now and see how they're going to work on the plate. I don't think I've got enough to go on the bottom, but we're about to find out. After much deliberation, we've done the measuring, and we've all had a bit of a conflab, and we've committed to that. So they're going to be in L1s, L2s, L3s. Wish me luck, there's no going back. We're getting there slow. Trying to think where everything goes is a fucking nightmare. I don't know how to get the crimper in, but we've got to start somewhere. And they're heavy bastards. These are in, and they're just going to relax for the night. If you want to know why cables they need to relax, there's a video on YouTube about cables and twists and relaxing cables, so look at that. But I ain't tighten them stuffing glands up till they've had a chance to just get themselves used to being there. Then I'll tighten them up tomorrow. Welcome to Saturday. Boxes in, the cables have relaxed, the stuffing glands have all been nipped up a little bit, phasing out's been checked. Now I'm going to fit the Busbar packs, the extension packs, which are these, and then we're going to have a lug on each side of this, I think. So yeah, we're just having a little trial fit, then we'll check our nuts and bolts and off we'll go. Doing some big crimping.
Two weeks later.
Right, that's the first setting. I put them bolts in there and tighten them up so they're loose, so I've got to get them back out. Then I've fitted the pack there, I've just loose fitted it, levelled it off. Got just get the torque wrench look, it won't go down that side, so I've got to work my way out. So I can't put them all in, I've got to work my way along because I can get that in there. But if I put those nuts in that side, they'll be sticking out there. So we're in there, we're at 100 newtons, I've struck all them so I know where I am. And now I can think about doing some lugging. But before I do that, I'm going to have a brew because my head's already broken. Having a cup of tea. It's very easy at this stage to forget things and get it wrong. So I've got to remember, oh, cut the camera. I've got to get this CT on here. So I can get it in. I can't get it in there though, but it'll go like that. They might all go at that angle. However, the trick is with these is, I'll come back to you, wait there. This split CT, the biggest split CT I've ever seen, to be fair. So if I imagine the cables are in there now, which will be on these bolts, I think that'll fall in and do up. Then I can put it back into position. So I think, and I've got to commit myself to this, I think I can get those in afterwards. So I'm going to put them away. I'm pretty sure I can drop it on, I can flick the split back up, then it'll be as it was before and I'll nestle it in there. So I'm going to leave them out. That's my decision. And if it's fucking wrong, it's going to be an expensive mistake because I'll have to take them all off for free and put them in. Right, the debate we just had is every pack of Busbar, roughly off centre, has 4 cables, top and bottom. They're not quite centred because of the way the plate's been drilled, but we then get options here because we've got a lug on this side, lug on that side, lug on that side, lug on that side for 4 lugs. So we're debating which way and which. So we're thinking the bottom one goes to the back bottom but swoops down, and then the top one goes to the back top and swoops up. So that means that because of the angle of this plate, the bit of cable that's available for flexing is about equal on both, we think. So sorry, no, that's it. This one, this is why I'm doing this. This one goes to the front, but underneath, and this one goes to the back on the top, which means the distance from the stuffing gland to the lug is about the same on both cables because the guy that's designed it has had the plate made at an angle, so it works really well. So what I'm going to do now is they're roughly there. Look, there's some of them are shorter than others. This is just what I got left with. So I think what we're saying is the top ones go to the back and swoop over like this, and the bottom ones go to the front and sweep under, sort of like this one's doing. So I'm going to dry fitting with tie wraps just to see if that's achievable. Problem is, we're totally determined by this hole and this angle, and once we cut it, it's fucked. That's it, it's over. So we need to get the measurement right. So once we cut this cable to go in this lug, we're absolutely committed to going in the hole because there's no slack, there's no jiggling around, there's no loops. That's got to be cut. If that's cut 5mm short, that hole will be 5mm short and we're in big trouble. So there's a lot of pondering going off at the minute. Still pondering, but what we're going to do is I'm going to cut some off this one, about 6 inch because it's way too long. Then we'll have a practice at just putting the lug on, not crimping it, but just getting the lug on, see how the strands react, see if they want to go everywhere. Because at the minute, like that bend there, I want it to go to here, but I don't want it to sit on that lug. I want it to be like that, so there's a gap. I don't want it fucking ramming on it. I want it to be flowing through nice, and get my bending onto that. So I'm going to take 6" off that one, just to see what this cable's like when we strip it down. Is that going to fucking flail everywhere or what? Who fucking knows? But that'll be down there. So we'll have some off that and just see what goes off, so we get the cutting it out now. So off camera we committed to a cut, which is that. That was the cut. We worked it all out, did all this business, and I've put a constant pressure spring around that to mark my 40mm of insulation that needs to come off, so it gives me a nice straight cut for my Stanley knife. That's a constant pressure spring. I'll show you when I take it off. I'm not showing you putting one on because they're a finger chopper. So now we're going to strip that and crimp it on and hope it fucking fits. Or otherwise we'll shit straight on me, Dan.
Yeah.
Fucked. So that constant pressure spring's on there because I can square it off and I get a square cut. So I follow the spring round, look, and my cut will always be square, because otherwise you go round on a big cable like that and come round a bit lower or higher. So that just gives me something to follow. So that's a super square cut now, look. But what you got to remember is in here, look, see that? So that plastic, I don't know if you can see it, but you will when zooming on YouTube. There's some plastic bedding around that. It's very easy to leave that plastic bedding on and crimp it, and you've got a bit of plastic in there, so got to check the cut square, can tie it up if I need to. And then here, look, I've got to get this plastic bedding out and make sure it's out all the way around, otherwise I'll be crimping onto an insulator. So now I'm inspecting it, look, see there, look, there's a bit of plastic left, look, that would be no good. So that needs to come up all the way around the other bit. I've left it on purpose, to be honest, but there's no there, look. I need to take that bit of plastic off there, because that would be resistive, very resistive. Hold on, constant pressure spring, push it off, look, that'll flip round now and come off, and that looks like this. So, oh, there it goes, it's off, and that's gone back to its original shape, look. So now I've got a lovely square cut at the right length, and that's because I used a constant pressure spring to do it. Now that's slow, it took us about 10 minutes, but that don't matter, there's no fucking rushing. So I've been lugging, so I'll show you lugs, yeah. This is a flat palm lug, because this is the palm here. That's the hole, that's the inspection hole, and that's the bell mouth, because it's got a flared end. Yeah, to help you guide in the thin strands. So they're made out of a section of copper. They're made out of copper. They don't look like it, but they're made out of copper. They get a bit of flat tube, a bit of tube even, cut it, put it into a machine that punches it flat at one end, and it punches the hole in. You never drill a lug. You never drill a lug out. You always buy the right size hole.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop your fucking lying.
The inspection hole in there, which is that, if I look in there now, look, you'll see the strands. That's so you can inspect that the cable has been pushed all the way in. And like I say, the flared end is to help you guide the cables in. Not essential with copper lugs, but it is with fine strands to get them in. So if you look at that end, look, you'll see the tube. If you get the sun right, look, you'll see where it's been crushed flat and made into the palm. That's a normal palm. You can get a narrow palm as well, where that isn't as big, it sort of ends here. So you get narrow palm lugs. There's a lug for every job, don't worry about it. You'll be able to find them in the catalogues. Look in the chambray catalogue if you want to find out about them. And the reason they're not copper is because they're tin coated. So they're dropped in a bath of tin, which sticks to them and coats them so that they don't tarnish and stuff like that. The tin is just to protect the copper. On every lug you'll find that. This one's a BCT, which will be the code 500-12. A 500mm cable with a 12mm hole. Or it can be any size, so you can get a 500 with a 16, a 500 with a 10, whatever. So that's how they're doing. The BCT will be their code, and when you look in the chambray catalogue, you'll select the code you've got, and it'll tell you what dies to use and how many indentations to make on the lug. Also, it'll tell you for different size cables what things to use, because different cables require different lugs. The most important thing is you've got the right lug for the right cable, and you crimp it with the right die at the right pressure with the right amount of indentations, and you inspect it to see it's there. And like different types of switchgear will need different types of lugs, but this one's just a normal palm, don't need to be narrow or anything. You can get ones that are super long for transformers, you get ones of these that got double barrels, there's all sorts. Like I say, I'll put a few on the screen now if it's on YouTube, but look in the chambray catalogue, just Google chambray catalogue, it comes up and that'll show you everything you fucking need to know about lugs, crimping, what's available, what you can buy and all that bollocks. So it's all in there. And you always follow that documentation. If you have a problem, you can go, well, I use the right lug with the right crimper, with the right cable, as per the catalogue, and no one could ever say you've done a shit job, because I've seen some crimping done shit in my life. But yeah, that's a lug. That's a lug with a cable in. So I got a lug on, bell mouth lugs, that's the ones with the flared end, so they go over the strands easier. Got a little rubber mallet for tapping them on. Don't hit it with an hammer, otherwise you're a fucking dickhead. You'll flatten the lug out, and then we pull it up by the cable, not the lug. Go in the inspection hole and check that the strands are there, which they are. That is ready for crimping. It looks about right. It's just a bit shy there, I've got a bit of a bend on it, so that looks good. We'll test fit that now. My test fit's good. There's no strain in that. It's not quite touching the bottom of the fucking stuffing gland. That's it. That's 1 out of 16, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Ah, fuck, who knows? Don't do maths, just do cables. This is the U-head, or the pinhead as I call it. These are the dies for it. They're big chunky bastards. These are 500s. And that'll slide in there like that. And then that goes in there like that. You sometimes have to take the pin out to get the lug in, maybe not. And then when it's down, which it's not, you get the pin in. Slight correction off with the camera. The top die has the pinhole in it, look. There's the hole. So that goes into there. You then put the pin in, making sure the pin is all the way in. Don't put the pin in half cham like that. You'll bend that, yeah, and it's a very expensive mistake. These are about £1,000. That goes in, I think they're more than £1,000 actually. And then this pushes up onto that, do the crimp, and that I think goes to 630, 800. Some jointer will email me now, message me on here now, correct me, but yeah, that's what I refer to as the U-head or the pin head on the crimping. Same fitting, same pump, the lot. There we go, that's one. I'm not going to show you all of them, but I will show you when I finish this one, because we've just done one on the video, to be fair, just to keep us in check. But that's nice, it's nice in here, it's nice swoop. The flute, the bell mouth is not sat on the buzz bar, the lug's not sat on the buzz bar is flat. We'll shrink up later. The inspection hole's good. What we've just done, we're now going to repeat another 3 times, finish this bar off. And if I think of anything to add, I'll pop it in as we go along. But yeah, we're going to concentrate now. Now we've done one good, we just need to do them all. That's Dan walking off down there to get my mug. But the funny bit is, my mug's here. Anyway, it's a lovely day, which is good. One thing I'm going to say is, look, whoa, easy. I always say don't go on your knees and don't bend your back and all that. But in a box like this, it's virtually impossible. That's why when I don't have to bend my knees, when I don't have to kneel or bend my back, I don't. But on a job like this, it's just fucking no choice. Even just getting down here looks an absolute cunt just to get on the right side of it, or the left side of it. So yeah, you might see me kneeling, so fuck you. So there's my next lug set at the angle I want them at. And you'll see I've got my other lugs in, so I'm going to chop them down. They're going quite well actually. It's always worth sweating over the first one. If you sit there for fucking 2 hours looking at the first one, then spend an hour or 2 fitting it, just get yourself comfortable, because there's no fucking margin for error, is there? If you cut it short, you've absolutely fucked it. If you don't set everything up and work out where everything's going to go, then work out the next bar's in the right place, you've totally fucked it. So never let people rush into this. If you don't get this one in right, if you get this one in right, you'll get confidence to do the rest right. Still take your time. If you get this one in wrong and it's short, it's fucking game over. Absolutely game over. And if it's a bit too long and you have to take these arm-ins off, the cores out on these multi-cores, it's easy to cut a mil off a copper cable. It's not easy to cut a mil off a stranded cable. So just take your time, for fuck's sake, is my top bit of advice, to be honest. Someone's already messaged me about these constant pressure springs as well. You can buy them from termination places, but they come in jointing kits. I've normally got a few different sizes. I'd like a bigger one for this, but I haven't got one. You can see that they're fucking not quite the right size, but it does do the job. However, these should be treated like mouse traps. They will fucking... See that how it's rolled up now? It wants to be like that. It wants to go back like that. If it has to put your finger in it to do that, it will. So as you're taking them off, use a screwdriver like this in the hole to flick it round. Don't put your finger in a constant pressure spring if you like your finger. Because if it just decides to go back to that shape and your finger's in the way, it'll go back to that shape with your finger in it. Check out my YouTube, like and subscribe, or I'll fucking kill your pets. You choose. It's your pets. Dan's just walking back up now, look. And he ain't got my mug, has he? Because it's there. We've also been doing some heat shrinking. So I was always told, use the right size heat shrink, funnily enough, yeah? So you want the heat shrink that's as snug a fit at the start as you can get. Like, don't force it on, but you want it to just be just enough. Then, using your gun, which has not got the gas on, I don't think, has it? There you go. With a soft flame, the gas will turn off at the bottle. You don't start in the middle, I always got taught. The joint that taught me how to do it says, you always put some heat in the end, so the heat goes up the tube, and that'll start to curl up. Then you put some heat in the other end, and that'll start to curl up. That then traps a little bit of heat inside. Then you lightly go over it on all surfaces, even around the back, just enough so it shrinks. You're not fucking got to shrink it completely, but you never keep it stationary, and you use the soft part of your flame. Let me try and do the flame. I won't be able to do it, but I'll try. Right, wherever I point that at is what I'm talking about. So if I light the torch, see down at the bottom now, you can't see the flame. That's when the combustion's happening. That's no good. If I move the torch back, you see that orange tip to the flame? That's called the tip. That's not hot. You see where about there, where the blue part of the flame becomes orange? That's called the mantle, and that's the best part of the flame to use because that's the hottest part. The orange flame at this end is sooty, it produces loads of soot, and down at this end it's very, very cold. So in the middle at the mantle is where you want it to heat things. That's where it's most efficient. So this is how I do it. Turn the gas on for a start. It's too intense. Bosh. I've centered it on that side, but it's not rolled the ends. The ends aren't rolled over. It's not got soot all over it. It's not fucking burnt. It's just shrunk as much as it needs to. And then sometimes let it cool down and go again. You can just finish it off. That's enough. I'll look forward to some proper jointers come telling me how wrong I am about that, but I'll pass on the information as I get it. That's one set done. Nice swoop faces. And they're in on the bars. Lovely. They're not touching there, they look like it. It's not twist with shoes on. 2 down, 1 to go. Very nice. So earlier on in the video, or earlier on, you remember they was all just dangling off there, yeah? It can seem like a long way away when they dangle off there, when you start to make this shape here. But whatever you do here affects what happens down there. So now we're in. We're not doing the earthing, the little cables, someone else doing them, just doing the big ones. They're in, they look nice. Need a little bit of a tidy up, but we'll get them. You know, them in, trefoil, bolts in, all the swoops, and then in there, they all roll in. You're upside down now, let me get the sunshine. And they look the same. They will get cleaned, but yeah, there you go. Not bad time it took us to do that either. Quite impressed how quickly we've done them. Now it's got to do it another twice. Right, the next job is to get tied up, and then we're back on the DC cables in the inverters for a couple of days, getting them done, which is a bit boring. I might do a bit more content on it though, so it's a bit more in depth, show you how we do it. So yeah, 2 days of doing the DCs in the stations, and then I'm coming back in about a week's time to do the other ones of these. Much excitement. I'm sure you're absolutely glued to your TV.